The essential bedrock for every freedom, for every human right, is unrestrained, robust academic freedom, freedom of inquiry, freedom of thought. If we don't have that, we have no other right at all.
So academic freedom is a very important freedom in liberal societies. It's not identical to free speech. So free speech means every citizen's right to express themselves freely within the law, no matter how idiotic or contradictory or absurd what they're saying is. So it includes the right to, stand on the street corner and predict the end of the world, whatever it is. Okay, all that is protected by free speech. Academic freedom is a privilege, it's not a right. It's a privilege possessed by academics, that is a group of people who are in the business of pursuing and disseminating the truth. So it is constrained by the purposes of the academic institution. It doesn't, allow you to talk utter rubbish. I mean, if an academic, claims that there was no Holocaust in the Second World War, or that vaccines cause autism, he or she will very quickly find himself out of a job, and quite rightly so. Yeah. It's not a license to say absolutely anything. But I think the distinction between free speech and academic freedom is often drawn by people who want to cancel their academic enemies. So it's very important to draw it carefully. Academic freedom, as distinct from free speech, does include the freedom to question tenets that are quite basic to many disciplines. Let's say gender studies regards it as a basic axiom of the discipline that trans women are women, right? So academic freedom would entail the freedom to question and reject that, yeah? So it's not a license for disciplines to police themselves and to exclude people who violate what they consider to be the basic tenets of the discipline, as is sometimes argued.
So the university is the place which is safe for academic students to discuss all kinds of views and to be able to raise all kinds of controversial positions. It's the home of research, it's the home where people find out things that might be unwelcome, might be interesting, often very valuable for society. And it's also perhaps the institution, because we do need institutions that defend and promote liberal values. I've said on other occasions that liberal values are not something that comes naturally. The rule of law is not natural. Freedom of speech is not natural. There are natural human impulses to suppress speech that you don't like, to ignore justice and to go after people that you don't like. We need institutions to protect those values, and at least in the case of freedom of speech and academic freedom, universities are really well placed to be those institutions.
If you think that all there is politics, and there's no such thing as a truth beyond politics, then you have no legitimacy when you say we need to follow the science. So for example, we've got, Donald Trump saying paracetamol causes autism, and that's idiotic.
First, effective immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of let's see how we say that. Acetaminophen. Is that okay?
And we ought to just be able to laugh at him. And we can, but part of the problem is that people on the left have been saying some pretty idiotic and post-truth things as well. So we've had, the British politician David Lammy in the Labour Party saying a man can grow a cervix.
Probably the case that only that trans women don't have ovaries, but a cervix, I understand, is something that you can have following various procedures and hormone treatment and all the rest of it.
Well, I'm sorry, but that's not true. And that is just as silly, if not actually sillier, than saying that paracetamol causes autism. So we as academics need to stand outside that. We need to move beyond tribalism and saying, oh, you know, how dare you agree with him on this because he's wrong about that. I mean, people saying that sex matters have been accused of being fascists because both Donald Trump and the Pope think that sex is binary. And oh, if both Trump and the Pope think sex is binary, then there must be 5 sexes, right? Well, no, because that's not how science works and that's not how truth works. So we need to move beyond this kind of standpoint theory where it's true because the nice person says it's true. We need to get back to our core values of science and rigor.
We've stuck very firmly to a non-partisan line. We don't have views as an institution on whether trans women are women or whether Israel is committing genocide or anything else. Yeah, we refrain from commenting on those issues. Our campaign is a sort of meta-level campaign. It's simply to say, look, whatever your views are, you should be free to express them. We created 3 principles, which are very basic, minimal liberal principles. Principle 1, staff and students at UK universities should be able to express any opinion within the law without fear of reprisal. Principle 2, staff and students should not be coerced or pressured into saying anything against their belief or conscience. And principle 3, universities should not endorse political agendas or affiliate themselves with organisations that promote political agendas. So very basic, minimal liberal principles.
What has changed in the last several decades, really, is seeing that there is an alleged conflict between free speech on the one hand and equality on the other hand. And as our society, including our universities, have very positively moved toward embracing invigorated values of equality and inclusion of individuals and groups that had previously been excluded or marginalized, a false conflict has been elevated that supposedly we have to choose between freedom of speech and academic freedom on the one hand and equality and inclusivity and dignity on the other hand. Actual experience shows that nothing could be further from the truth, that the greatest engine for promoting equality, among other human rights, is robust free speech and open inquiry. And the greatest tool for repressing equality and for perpetuating discrimination is censorship. In the United States, the right-aligned justifications, alleged justifications for suppressing speech and academic inquiry are more communitarian in the sense of safety, national security, so-called traditional family values. And we see those kinds of concerns being raised today. Interestingly enough, some of the same rhetoric is used by the right as by the left when there is reference to safety and to harm. What consists of safety and what consists of harm are often diametrically opposite to each other. So those of us who are advocating for neutral, even-handed free speech and academic freedom, I think have a very persuasive case that should be very easy to make, that if you want to have freedom for speech that you like, then you have to defend freedom for speech that other people like, or conversely, if you want to have power to suppress speech that you consider harmful, that is simply going to come back and haunt you because other people think that speech you like is harmful.
When it comes to safety, I don't believe in protecting students or faculty from particular ideas. I don't think that particular ideas or topics affect your safety. They might affect you psychologically. You might be deeply offended by them, but I think universities are places where you want to strengthen your ability to absorb and delve into ideas that challenge you, and hopefully people who go to universities are better at handling ideas that are offensive to them than the general public. They should not be places that are more restrictive to controversial ideas than the general public, I think. So I think that the idea of safety is often misguided. I don't think that students' safety are in fact challenged if they hear speakers or are confronted with curriculum that might be, go against their most deep held values. So I think in a way it's sort of a false dilemma to a very certain extent. That doesn't mean that I'm a free speech absolutist. I don't really think that anyone really is. I don't think threats should be protected. I don't think you should have a right to incite to violence. And in the academic setting, obviously, if I'm a lawyer, let's say I was a law professor and I say today I'm going to teach theology, then obviously the university can decide that I'm not fit for the job. So in that sense, academic freedom and free speech are not entirely the same. But when it comes to safety, I don't think that's a very helpful concept to delineate the limits of academic freedom and free speech.
I think for academics, the main message would be that the best way to protect academic freedom is to use it. And that is because, whilst the secret of happiness is freedom, as the saying goes, the secret of freedom is courage. And that means that now you have protections. You should be able to set controversial subjects. You should be able to talk about difficult matters, invite controversial speakers, invite opposed controversial speakers. If you feel that your freedom of speech or academic freedom is under threat, then protect it, complain about it as necessary, use our guidance as necessary, but most importantly model for individual academics, please do model the talking about not being afraid to talk about difficult and controversial subjects. You as academics are in a position, especially those who have more security, you as academics are in a position now to talk about these things, to see, so that you make sure your students and other staff see you talking about these things. And when they see that happening, they too will take part in these conversations. And that's one way, I think, to start generating a more open culture on campus.
Support us, sign our principles, support other free speech organisations. We're one of many. AFAF, Academics for Academic Freedom, does very valuable work. Join your local AFAF branch, and above all, just feel free to speak your mind. If someone says nonsense in a seminar, call them out. Don't feel that you have to hold your tongue. The law is now on your side. You cannot be punished for speaking your opinion. And another of our important programs is called Open to Argument. So this is a series of debates or discussions on controversial topics which will take place on campuses around the UK. And the idea is to show everyone that universities are places in which these issues can be discussed. They're not ideological monopolies, and we hope that they'll have an important demonstration effect as well as being interesting in themselves.
Every single one of us has a stake in academic freedom, even people who have nothing to do with universities directly, because what starts in universities does not stay in universities. On the negative side, we, the public, general public, are deprived of the enormous potential resources that exist specifically in universities for the pursuit of truth that will benefit all of us in terms of scientific inquiry, health benefits, understanding more philosophical truths. We depend on universities to do that.